It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, 19 degrees out with some wind chill. The tree company left us some nice white oak here for us to split up into firewood. So let's go start a fire and we'll hook up the Farmall Cub to the trailer. About 3 inches of snow on the ground. Now I've never needed to have chains on here, but we'll see today because we're going to be pulling a pretty heavy trailer and there was some freezing rain last night, so we'll see how it goes. One thing that's interesting about this is I actually 3D printed a tow ball hitch. I have I believe a 15/16 bolt that goes down through the middle, that bears all of the weight from pulling a trailer, and I just 3D printed this to be able to fit around the trailer hitch. I pulled pretty heavy stuff with this, even uphill, it's held up for about 2 years. Might be time to replace it soon. We got a big crack right here, but works great. So this is a 1957 Farmall Cub. It's been in our family since its original purchase, which was made by my great-grandfather. Something unique about the 1957 Cub is that I believe it was the only year where they made the grille and emblem backdrop an off-white color, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it's the best looking model years of all Cubs, and it is absolutely my favorite thing about this tractor. Anyways, I think he also purchased the original International Harvester belly mower with it as well. I believe it's called the C60, but he used it mainly on the family business property, mowed grass with it, up until I want to say the 90s. Since then it's been kept in the barn where it's essentially sat and collected rust for many years, with an occasional startup every once in a while to keep the engine from locking. When I was growing up, I vaguely remember some of the relatives using it to mow either this property or taking it down the road to mow their own. But since we have a newer 1975 Cub that has its own 59-inch belly mower, this one was never used anymore, and my father took the belly mower off and stored it in the side shed. In 2019, when I was a freshman in high school, I had the pleasure of being able to cosmetically restore this tractor. One day in September, I drove it home while my dad was at work, and I started to take it apart and clean off some of the grease. I had the hood off and some of the other parts, and when he got home, this is actually quite funny. When he got home, he was pretty mad. Rightfully so, though. I mean, I took the tractor apart in his garage, and at this point in my life, I was never really mechanically sound, and I really just got most of my help from YouTube to figure out what I was doing. So eventually, though, with a little bit of help from YouTube and my brothers and my dad, in about a month and a half, I was able to fully paint the tractor, top to bottom, as well as do some other basic maintenance like an oil change and replacing the points and condenser. From what I remember, this tractor always ran well. It never really had issues other than needing the points and condenser replaced. But we did have to seal a small hydraulic leak, and I think it needs a little bit more hydraulic work, because later in the video you'll be able to hear that there's some kind of screeching noise. There's also a steady oil leak from the filter, but that shouldn't be that bad of a fix. I might have just overlooked maybe taking the O-ring off. Maybe there's 2 O-rings on it, but I'll just fix that next time I do an oil change. It's just a steady drop. Now I use this tractor for all kinds of stuff. I like to take it to the town's Memorial Day parade every year, and I obviously like to haul things with it. You'll be able to see me later in this video putting it to good work, hauling some firewood. But I've also skipped some decent sized logs out of the woods with this thing, some good firewood, and also I've been on the market for some implements for this thing. First off, I'd actually like to restore the original International Harvester mower deck to be able to use it once I get my own property. But I also want a snow plow and a grader blade for it, be able to do some driveway work, and when it snows, plow the driveway. Aside from those two, I think it'd be really cool to have that 1-point fast hitch system, where I would be able to use like the carry-all, maybe haul some wood with the carry-all, the York rake, the disc harrow, maybe even that F42 rear-mounted bush hog. I hear that's pretty rare. There's only a couple of videos of it on YouTube. The more common one is the 42-inch belly mower that goes under the tractor. But I think it'd be pretty cool to have the rear-mounted one, just like an original bush hog that goes on the back of the 3-point hitch tractor. But this one will be able to fit on the 1-point fast hitch. Anyways, let's start hauling some wood. Got all the splittable firewood done, so let's load up the rest of the not so good ones. And we're all loaded up. I'm guessing it to be about 3,000 pounds. It's white oak, so it's pretty dense. Let me know in the comments what you guys think this weighs. I can't tell for sure. It's a 5x8 trailer, so pretty full. First gear, we're slipping a little bit, but I'm not surprised. It's a pretty heavy darn trailer. See how we do through here. A little bit of left brake. A little bit more throttle. Starting to go pretty steep uphill here. Well, that was fun. A lot of slippage there, but it was a pretty steep hill. And I think we'll pull right up about here. down with an empty trailer. Need some nice work coming up here. Back down the hill though. Are y'all impressed? Hauling all that weight up that hill? Because I sure am. Even without chains, I did not think that was going to happen. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Leave any comments, any questions if you have any. And I'll see you at the next one. Peace.